What's up, guys? Dirtbike Boy 7 here. As you can hear, and not really see, but as you can hear, it's raining pretty hard and thundering. You'll hear thunder here in a second. But I think it might be stopped. It's getting quieter, but I mean not the rain, but the thundering. It stopped here for a minute, and then started again. But So today is going to be another school story. I'm going to put two stories in this one. So, here we go. So, Tuesday. Dang, I haven't recorded in a while. A school story video, so Tuesday. So there's this kid at my school. I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's pretty personal, and I could probably get in trouble for it. Because it does involve legal things. But, so, Tuesday, me and my friend, I'm just going to give him a name, Carl. Me and my friend Carl, there's this guy that has done some pretty bad things to his girlfriend. Not, abusive, but, just things. Controlling things, and, this has been going on since, the end of last school year, and since, May of last year. It happened, May of last year, and then he stopped, and then it started again this year, or the end of last school year. So finally, my friend Carl had enough of it, and decided he was gonna beat him up. So, this happened Tuesday. So, we were in the... and just one final straw went off to make him do it. And so I was like, okay, I'll meet you right here after first period. Because he usually stands right there. Okay? Hang on, somebody's coming on the road. Never mind, I stopped. Okay, and he had art, and I was in the 1000 hall, which is all the way across the school. So once first period bell rang, I got myself and I got up and ran to the art room. I ran. I was on the 1000 hall and he was on the 5000 hall. So pretty much the other side of the school. So, and up a flight of stairs. So, that's kind of oh shit. And so I had to run all the way to the art room and get there before I had to be there for it to happen. So I got myself up there because I want his ass to get kicked too. And so he was standing there with his girlfriend, right? So we were like, oh shit, we don't want her here whenever this shit happens. So we waited until she left, and he went down the hallway. So he passed us and was going down. There's two main hallways in my school, and then there's separate ones where the classrooms are, to get to the halls. And so he was going down the second main hallway, right where we were, and he passed us, but he didn't see us. So then my friend Carl ran up behind him and just pushed him down to the ground and let him get back up, and then he just punched him and knocked his ass out. And he was just laying there on the floor, and then got back up, and then they started screaming at each other. And ended up, a bunch of teachers came, everybody was crowding around in the hallway, normal things for a fight. It's weird, it's the third week of school, oh shit. Oh, thank God tomorrow's Friday. Actually, guys, I got out of school early today, but besides the point. So later that day, probably about fourth period rolls around, and I was walking by the ISS room, and Carl was sitting in there, and I was like, I knew his ass was going to get in trouble, but I was like, okay, maybe he's in the ISS, or maybe he only got 5 days ISS, because the teacher was talking to him, telling him something thank you, or some shit. I was like, okay, yeah, this kid needs to be dealt with, the kid that he beat up, and yeah, so there has been some repercussions from that. So that same day, right, he comes up to me and my friend at lunch, and starts making fun of my friend, and I was like, hey, shut the fuck up. And he was like, And he was like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I was like, "You won't get your ass kicked 2 times in a row?" And then, he was like, "You're the nurse's bitch," because my mom's the nurse. And that's whenever I went off. I just went off on him. Yeah. So then we almost fought, but then when my friends pulled me back and then didn't let me fight him. So then today, same thing pretty much happened, but it was way different. Alright. But it kind of got ruined. We were going to beat him up again. And I was going to be involved this time, but it got ruined. Kind of thankfully, but kind of not thankfully. Because I needs to get beat until he breaks up with this girl. So what was going to go on today was, hang on, let me think about it for a second and remember what exactly went down. Okay, so I remember what exactly went down. So I was in ROTC just before lunch, and the kid that was going to beat him up was right there with me. Not the one from the other day, not Carl, but a different one. So he was like, "Somebody's going to pay me $200 to beat him up." And I was like, "Alright, are you going to do it?" And he was like, "Yeah, right now at lunch." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Want to split it and you help me?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. You can just do it." But then towards the middle of lunch, I decided that I was going to help too, so. Because I was like, worth it. $100. Kind of worth it, but kind of not worth it at the same time. Because Carl ended up going to jail. Yeah, so. He's been in jail since Tuesday. He got out today, though. So that's good. Because I seen him on the road on the way home because I got to leave school early. So we walk into lunch and we were sitting there waiting for him to show up, like planning it out. Then whenever he got there, we all went into the bathroom, like me and like 4 other kids with him. Like I was the only one that knew it was going to happen so far. He just told them to come on and he was going to tell them in the bathroom. So we were all standing in there planning it out, telling them what was going to happen. And this freaking kid in there that I was friends with last year, not friends with him no more. Well, he was in there. And he overheard us talking. He was like, "Oh, you're going to fight somebody?" And we were like, "Yeah," and we told him the kid's name and everything, what happened. And I was like, before we told him, I was like, I don't know if we should tell him, because he has this tendency of trying to tell people what we're gonna, like, what's gonna go down, like the person that's gonna happen to. And, which we were gonna fair fight him this time. We weren't gonna run up behind him like Carl did. But, we were gonna fair fight him, just normal fight, just fight. Right there in line. Right after the bell rung, so it'd be crowded. So teachers couldn't get it. So, and he was like, and so he starts telling him, I was like, "Hey, don't tell him, don't tell him." Like, I didn't make it apparent where he could hear. Because, like, this was before we started telling him. And I was like, "Hey, don't tell. Don't tell him, Trey. I mean, what was his name again? That's not his name, I forget his name. But don't tell him. And what do you know? He freaking tells him. And exactly what I thought was going to happen. So we leave the bathroom, go back to our seats at lunch. Like, we don't have, like, assigned seats, but we went back to where we were sitting and waiting for him to be by himself again. That way it didn't get, like, double teamed. Because he's a bigger dude, but he can't fight for shit. But we were walking over there. The bell was about to ring. No. We were sitting there, and we see his ass walk up. The one that I said, "Do not tell." He walks up to him with 2 or 3 other guys, and starts telling him what happened. And you can tell that he told him what happened. I mean, he's all the way across the thing, across the cafeteria, but you can tell what just went down. You can tell he just told me. Hey, there's a bunch of birds in my yard right now, right over there. But, oh, somebody's on a bike. Well, that ain't good. Like thunder and lightning. But anyway, so you can tell what just went down, and I was like, "Fuck, I knew it. I knew you were gonna do it." Because he was like, "You ain't gonna fight him. And he'll do anything just to prove a point, even if it means like sabotage." And I was like so freaking mad whenever this happened. So he tells him, and he leaves one of his friends over there with him. I'm like, "Oh, you." So what our plan was is we were gonna act like we were like trying to make amends and like try to shake his hand, and then once one of them shook his hand, took it away, and one of us was gonna punch him, and then get him down on the ground, and then we were all just gonna jump on him and start punching the hell out of him. Like he had a chance. Whenever he shook his hand, if he wanted to fight, he would have fought us. That, and we waited like 2 minutes before after he shook his hand, because I don't know. So we all walk over there. He knows what's about to happen, so that's whenever we thought of that plan. Whenever we went and told him, because we were just gonna shake his hand. Guess what happened? Before we could even punch him, he told the teacher. The kid that I said don't freaking tell told the freaking teacher. I was like, you mother. And I was like, dang. So we're all over there about to beat the hell out of him, and then the teacher shows up and starts freaking screaming. I'm talking screaming at the top of his lungs at us. So then, right after lunch, I was walking to art because that's what I had. I don't even know why I got art. I didn't even sign up for art, but it's a pretty fun class actually because of the people in there. But so I'm walking to art and I see him. I see the kid that freaking told him. I'm like, why did you freaking tell him? Why did you tell him that we were gonna go over there and fight him? Why did you tell the teacher? And he was like, because you don't need to be walking up on somebody and just beating them up. And I was like, well, you don't know the story. You don't know the story of why. It just started making me mad. But, yeah, that's today's stories. So, yeah, and nothing really happened on Wednesday. Well, something happened, because that's whenever, like, we found out everything that happened and everything, and, like, that he was in jail and everything, and all that, but, like, nothing amazing happened. But, it's good to know that his ass is out of jail now. But, yeah. So that's today's stories, I guess. So, today's school story. What is this, number 6 or 7? I think it's number 6. Or is it number 5? I'll check. But, anyways, guys. This has been Dirt Bike Boy 7. Peace.